afternoon, Lisa.
Good afternoon, Andrew.
It's Christmas.
It is. Well, it is in Are You Being Served, anyway.
Yes, in our watching of Are You Being Served, we've reached the 22nd of December, 1975, and Christmas crackers.
Christmas crackers, yes.
Now, we haven't done this for a while. I just thought it would be worth just going through some of the highlights of viewing on BBC One that day. BBC One kicks off at 9 a.m. with the banana splits, simply described as comedy, adventure, cartoon. That's it. Before the Ark, 8 programmes about the strange and fascinating animals that had already vanished from the earth before the coming of man. Dr. Alan Charig, creator of fossil amphibians, reptiles and birds at the British Museum, brackets Natural History, brackets London. Yeah.
So the Natural History Museum.
Yeah. 10.05, The Engineer Through the Looking Glass, Royal Institution Christmas Lectures by Professor Eric Laithwaite of Imperial College. This appears to be a repeat of the 1974 ones.
Yeah, because they never show them early in the day otherwise.
Episode 4, The Jabberwock. And this amazingly does exist and can be watched on the Royal Institute website, because I've just found it.
All right, okay.
And he comes on with a gyroscope and makes it twizzle down a bit of string, and I had a gyroscope around this time, so I wonder if I saw his gyroscope and wanted one.
Maybe, yeah.
And then there's a girl dressed up as Alice in Wonderland who reads a bit of the Jabberwock.
Right.
More about Alice in Wonderland in a minute. Away in a village, 3 weeks in the life of a Dorset village as it prepares for Christmas. Number 1, You Can't Beat the Truth, Vicar. A group from the Women's Institute start rehearsing a play. Don't know what village. Holiday Star Trek, A Mock Time.
It's just Star Trek, isn't it, really?
Bugs Bunny in Backwoods Bunny. Laurel and Hardy in Hog Wild. News, Christmas Pebble Mill. Bob Langley, Donnie MacLeod and David Seymour. Marion Foster and Rhoda Gostelow. Yes. Oh no. Marion Foster's journey on the Rhoda Gostelow through Cornwall.
Okay.
Whatever that means. Don't know. Mr. Ben the Zookeeper.
Right.
Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh gosh, okay.
Animal Marvels with Tony Soper.
Right.
Regional News, Play School, Astronaut. Jack and Ori with Jane Asher, Tales from the Russian Mountains. The Fiery Horse from Three Apples Fell from Heaven. Okay. Blue Peter, John Noakes, Peter Purvis, Leslie Judd. Alice in Blue Peterland. Leslie shrinks as she becomes Alice. Watch her adventures in Blue Peterland. Carols around the tree and all that. And the Blue Peter Clothes Horse race. Okay.
Right.
I suppose that's the collecting things.
Possibly.
Inch High Private Eye, Magic Roundabout. What were you?
I don't know. I don't think I ever liked Inch High Private Eye.
Well, he was too small. National News, Tom and Jerry. London and South East only. Everybody else got regional news.
Okay.
The Adventures of Robinson Hogg. So James Hogg from Nationwide was cast away on a deserted Scottish island without food, shelter or company. So there you go. That sounds cheap. The Invisible Man with David McCallum. Power Play. Born Free, feature film.
Yes.
And Are You Being Served, Christmas Crackers by Jeremy Lloyd and John Chapman. No David Croft involvement at all. Is at 8:45 at 9:15 when it's the Mastermind final, news, and then the film Women in Love.
Right.
So something for everybody there, I think, really.
I'm just wondering if that's the year he had his heart attack, David Croft.
I don't know.
It was around the time of the Dad's Army stage play, because he said trying to teach John Le Mesurier to sing
didn't do him any good.
Gave him a heart attack.
Okay.
A little heart attack, not a big one.
But yeah, that's quite a good day's schedule. I wouldn't mind seeing much of that. And I said, I'd certainly recommend the Royal Institute lectures, because I'm amazed that still survives, but brilliant. Anyway, we start with Mr. Mash doing the hoovering. Yes. And it is an actual hoover, because it says hoover on it. It's one of those lie-down ones, isn't it? Yeah. I did say, where's the ladies? Because normally the cleaning ladies will be doing that.
But obviously they couldn't afford them in this episode.
Yeah. Captain Peacock comes in early. There's an important meeting about the Christmas sales drive. And there's a bit of banter about setting up the tables and coffee. Yes. Because Mr. Mash is being intransigent.
Yes.
Intransigent.
Intransigent. Okay. Yeah, Captain Peacock says, I'll speak to the head of your union. And he says,
I am the head of my union.
Yes.
he said he sort of negotiates. He won't do anything for a bribe of less than 50p.
They give him £1.
Yeah, so he's
a £1 note.
Yeah, he's quite pleased, and he's going to put cream in his coffee. You said the steps are tatty, aren't they?
Yeah, the steps either look really tatty, or they're meant to look like marble.
Yeah, I think they're meant to be marble.
Yeah, but they just look.
But the
really
set is now
tatty.
over 3 years old, and it's starting to wear. It'd be interesting to see if they spruce them up for next year. I don't know. Mr. Lucas comes in supported by Mr. Humphreys. Yes. Mr. Lucas has got a hangover.
Yes.
And the sudden change of altitude hasn't done him any good.
Yes.
Mr. Humphreys had to put his arm around him, and he went as white as a sheet.
Yes.
Yeah. Miss Brahms comes in a fur coat and curlers.
Yes. A very short skirt.
Yeah, and Mr. Mash points out the coffee has not been ordered; it's been requested.
Yes. Yeah, because Captain Pookott says he's ordered coffee. Not ordered, Captain. Requested.
No sign of Mrs. Slocum.
No.
Is it about it's not got her umbrella or something?
No, because it's raining and she's worried. The buses are on strike.
Yeah.
It's raining and she's worried a rinse will run.
Yeah. But what was it? Captain Peacock said she's resourceful and will find a way to come in.
Yes.
The lift door's open and she comes in full witch's costume with big tall hat, cloak and a broomstick.
And a broomstick, yeah. But it turns out it's not.
That's a great image for her.
It is a great image.
She carries it off really well.
She does, but it's a garden thing. It's like one of those cone things that you put a... I don't know if anybody's ever actually had a twig broomstick in real life.
A bism.
A bism, yeah.
Yeah, no, we used to have
Did you have a bism?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're quite good for sweeping up with.
It's a plastic bism, anyway.
Yeah, it's sort of poor quality.
She rested it against the Arga.
From hardware. Her twigs went all funny, didn't they? Her hair's sort of pinky, isn't it?
Yes. So. It's not a very violent pink, it's quite pale.
No. Sort of toned down pink. And what is it? Winston. She's left Winston.
Yeah, she says she can't be late because she's left Winston clinging to the curtain rail.
Because the sight of
her pussy would come down. Yeah.
Winston turns out to be not the lodger but the canary.
Yes.
They're wondering where Mr. Rumbold is, and because it's windy, they speculate that every time he goes outside, his ears blow him back in again, which is a bit rude.
Yes.
Mr. Humphreys has been tossed for some time.
Yes.
Temporarily out of service on his phone.
On his phone, yes. Because he was nearly late but he couldn't set a telephone alarm because he's tossed. And
he's tossed.
And his alarm is broken because the striker just buzzes.
Yeah. The coffee is going to be 10p each in plastic cups. He had a dream where he was winding up his clock. He woke up wet through.
Yeah.
Because he actually unscrewed his water bottle.
Yes.
How on earth do you do that?
Boiling hot.
How on earth do you do that?
You're not scalding yourself as well.
Captain Peacock assumes Mr. Rumbold ain't going to come, so he sits in the middle seat and takes the only proper cup of coffee, the proper China one. Everybody else gets...
I don't think it is China.
Plastic, what is it?
It's that sort of... stuff you always get in sort of like hospitals and like that sort of blue... it's probably so it's
still cheap.
It's cheap. It's not China. Yeah. Only Mr. Grace gets China icebergs.
But ideas for what we can do for the sales drive
at Christmas sales.
Mrs. Slocum is in favour of all the trimmings.
And snow and stuff. And
holly in her underwear and that sort of thing. Mr. Humphreys suggests free kisses for the gentleman customers. There's a bit of confusion over this till he means from the ladies' department.
From the ladies to the gentlemen, yes.
Mr. Granger then turns up, claiming that Mrs. Granger failed to rouse him this morning. And he's not looking forward to Christmas because there's too many kids about. Yes. I dislike children intensely. Children should be seen and not heard. And preferably not seen.
Yeah. You like it when he does that.
I love that. It's one of my favourite bits. But they say, well... they're customers.
Yeah, you're not going to say that in front of them, are you?
He said, I shall give them my warm, welcoming smile. And he does this sort of grimace.
Yes.
It makes him look like a gargoyle, doesn't it? It's one of the most frightening faces I've ever seen him pull. Yes.
I mean, his normal smile isn't brilliant, but this is just because he's not got his eyes open.
He's like a Santaran,
he's got his eyes closed, so he just looks really, really scary.
Yeah.
He looks like a serial killer or something.
He does. Yeah. But yeah, could they have a Father Christmas beckoning?
Yes.
Did you ever visit Father Christmas in a store when you were small?
Yes, I vaguely remember visiting Father Christmas.
Where to?
It would have probably been in Debenhams in Romford, near where I lived. I can vaguely remember going in there and being given a present. Because there's a great picture somewhere, I don't think we got it here, of my eldest two nieces both visiting Father Christmas, both looking terrified.
Yeah.
Sat on his lap.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh! It's
we
really
might
funny.
have gone to like Beals and Bournemouth to visit one. Or possibly the Arndale Centre, because he used to have a booth in the middle of the Arndale Centre.
They usually do have something in the Arndale Centre. That will be appearing towards the end of November, I suspect. Because Father Christmas in Poole comes into Poole by boat.
Yeah, he arrives on his boat. And
on his boat.
There's a parade through
the
with
town.
The marching band and all that.
Yes.
You don't want to get stuck behind that, do you?
No. It's usually on a Sunday, so we don't go anywhere near. But
hiring a Father Christmas might be expensive. Maybe a sledge on wheels.
And you could take people to the counters.
Yeah, and have it being have somebody in a reindeer costume. Yeah. But Miss Brahms doesn't want to go in it with Mr. Lucas because she'll get hydrophobia, which is being bit with a mad dog, isn't it?
Mr. Humphrey says, do you mean claustrophobia? And she says, Mrs. Slocum says she'll probably get both. Yeah. And Mr. Humphries has also suggested a Glee Club.
Well, yeah, I was just okay. Mr. Humphries suggests Glee Club, and this gets a hilarious sort of chortle from one person and the other. And then they it's like everybody has looked at them and they suddenly shut up. Yeah. Because nobody else really laughs at that.
No.
Mr. Granger doesn't want to sing Good King Wenceslas.
No.
Mr. Rumbold arrives, so Captain Peacock has to move.
But he's already drank his coffee.
He's already drunk most of the coffee.
Yeah.
Then young Mr. Grace turns up, saying there are some novelty costumes that they're going to have to wear.
But before he turns up, Mr. Rumbold actually says that he's decided that they'll all wear novelty costumes, and none of them are happy about it.
Yes. Based on nursery rhymes and fairy tales, though Mr. Granger says I'm not a child at heart.
No.
But there's
Mama!
Martha's wailing. Here she comes.
Mama.
We're ignoring her. Yeah.
Come on.
But they're going to build a grotto in the department during the lunch hour.
Yes.
And nobody expects much of this. But anyway, cut to 12:35.
Sorry, Martha wants fast. I'll just fast Martha one.
And everybody's hungry because it's going to be the Christmas lunch.
Yes.
It's ages to go till Christmas, but they're not having it all at once this time. They're going to be staggered this year. Yeah. Now, do you do this? Because you get a Christmas lunch.
We don't get Christmas lunch anymore. We used to get Christmas lunch.
Can you get served by the managers?
We do get served. We used to get served by the managers. Now they just bring because we don't actually have a canteen as such. We have a room where you can eat your lunch with various coffee machines and chocolate machines and some free food that's about to go out date normally, or has been broken. We have a buffet, so you help yourself, but they bring around drinks.
Okay.
So they fill your drink out. They do bring around wine. I never have wine because I don't really drink wine, but I usually have orange juice or Coke or something. Massa!
Mr. Mash brings on another display model, this time for Everlasting Tights.
Yes.
Which plays ballet music and kicks, doesn't it?
Yeah, because
we'll come to the ballet music.
It used to be in the
sports department
with a football boot on it.
But the football went through the window.
Yes,
several times. So it's been relegated. Yes. Mrs. Slocum doesn't like this at all.
No.
And goes off to complain to Captain Peacock, and there's an almighty camera lurch.
Yes.
I don't know whether she goes too quick or the cameraman just
camera's got tangled in the wires or something.
But it's like, blimey, she's heading straight for me. Get out of the way. Give her some room. So Captain Peacock tells her to leave it alone, but she sort of moves it about a little. Yeah. She sort of repositions it.
He stops. Mr. Humphries comes over. Yeah. So she she's moved it around and then she turns it on.
Yeah, but Mr. Humphries wants something signed or checked, doesn't he? And so Captain Peacock concentrates on that. The music starts up. Yes. And, Mr. Humphries wonders what the music is, and it's Tchaikovsky. Yeah. It kicks Captain Peacock between the legs.
Yes, so he goes, Tchaikovsky!
And Mr. Humphries says it is the Nutcracker Suite. Yes. And a lovely little bit of direction here, as you then cut to a big close-up of some nuts in a bowl and some nutcrackers. Yes. And then the camera pulls back.
Pulls back to show the Christmas.
We're now in the Christmas lunch
table.
Yeah. Yeah, they've actually got some trimmings and balloons and things up. There's some big crackers and some hats. The crackers are enormous.
They are enormous. They're really huge, enormous 70s ones.
I've never seen crackers that big. I've never had them that big.
No, I've seen them on the television, but never in real life.
But Mr. Lucas comes in and sort of leans over Miss Brahms' shoulder and says, "Blimey, they get bigger every year." To which she says, "Don't be personal," and he means the crackers. He means the crackers. But everybody likes not having to queue up because they're going to be served for once. And they've got a huge big bottle of wine. As Miss Brahms reads, it says Vin Blanc Coupe. And then she wonders what country coupe is.
Yes.
And it turns out to be Co-op.
Yes. And it's a big bottle, but it's a screw top.
It's a screw top. And this is, as I've said before, this is still when people look down on screw top in wine, you know.
But they're actually very handy because we've got a bottle of wine in the kitchen that we cannot get the cork off.
No.
Because it's jammed.
That's another story.
Yes.
So you should have had a ticket for the Christmas lunch. And Mr. Lucas hasn't got one, so he's going to have halibut with holly in it instead. The turkey turns up. It's brought on in a
huge silver salver cloche. They call it.
Is it? Right, okay. Bless you.
But first of all, she brings up the plates with potatoes and vegetables on, and then she brings this big turkey under the cloche. Well, she brings the big cloche anyway.
Yeah, and underneath is this tiny, tiny bird.
Stupid, smallest turkey you've ever seen.
Well, it's not a turkey.
No, it's like a chicken.
It's smaller than that.
It's a poulet.
Well, is it? It's described as an emaciated budgie. Yeah. Captain Peacock has a go at carving, but the knife is blunt, and
and the turkey's not the chicken, whatever, is tough.
Do you require stuffing, Mrs. Slocum?
Just one spoonful.
Just one spoonful. The wine is extremely fizzy.
Yes.
Actually, looked quite nice. The wine to me. It had some life in it.
It did have some life in it. Yeah.
But Miss Brahms' leg has got bristles on it, and Mrs. Slocum says it's like leather. It turns out the halibut's actually quite nice.
Yes. So, but he's had to go and get it himself.
Yeah, but I think Mr. Lucas got the best deal out of that.
The halibut.
Mr. Humphreys toys with his sprouts.
Yes.
Then the pudding arrives, and frankly, I've seen this episode before, so I know where this is going. But even on first sight, that pudding looks extremely fake, doesn't it? Yeah. Big, sort of round thing with like the sort of what's it on top? Cream on top or whatever?
It's not cream. It's sort of
white.
Ice? No. I don't know. If we have Christmas pudding, we never have anything like that on it.
No. But
it's the image of the Christmas pudding with the brown and then the white bit and then the little sort of holly on top.
But they've got some brandy to set light to it.
And it's a tiny bottle.
Miniature bottle, but it won't light.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Mr. Mash is passing, and he just happens to have some wood alcohol in his pocket.
Yes.
Which he uses for stripping varnish. So he puts it all over the thing. Sets light to it. There's a huge flash of flame.
And I do wonder if they were expecting it to be quite that big. It is
big. I wouldn't want to get that close to it.
Because there's a lot of whoa going back like this. So I don't think they actually realised how much it was going to go up.
No. And the pudding collapses and just sort of smokes.
Yeah, so they get there, they pull the crackers.
And then they've all got these joke body parts, haven't they?
The sort of glasses and noses and things.
So Mr. Granger has got a pair of big ears, hasn't he?
And glasses.
Has he got? No, I think there is, aren't there?
No, the glasses are attached to the
All right, okay.
To the ears. That's what holds the ears on.
Mrs. Slocum has got vampire teeth.
Yep.
That's two supernatural things she's been this episode. Yes. Captain Peacock has got wobbly eyes. They're the funniest, I think.
Yeah, they've got those sort of little dots in
glasses,
there. So, and when you move, they just dash all over the place.
And he keeps on moving his head, so these eyes keep on jiggling about. Miss Brahms has got a nose, glasses, and a moustache thing, a bit like sort of Groucho Marx. And Mr. Humphreys has got some lips, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Mr. Rumbold turns up, and so does Mr. Grace. Mr. Grace says one has to push the boat out from time to time. There's some muttering about it being the Marie Celeste. and the costumes are in the boardroom.
Yes.
Now remember, some time ago, Mr. Granger said he'd never been in the boardroom
now he's been in
all
the
his
boardroom
30 years. This is the second time we don't see the boardroom because they'd have to build the set again.
Yeah.
But as Mr. Grace goes off, he says, "See you later, Mr. Rumbold," to Mr. Granger.
Yes, and we've already had a joke about Mr. Rumbold.
Because of the big ears, yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we come back to the department, that's the word, and everybody's got their costumes on.
So you get them one by one.
Yeah. So first of all, Mr. Rumbold comes in, and his costume only consists of a hat.
Yeah, it's like a sort of
it's a great big
tall hat or something.
Sort of yellow and red stripy thing, isn't it? Yeah. Captain Peacock's got the full work, so he comes in and he's a snowman.
Yes.
Complete with head, hat, pipe, everything.
Yeah. And it's that sort
scarf, and it's long all the way down, isn't it?
Material. It looks like it's you used to in the 70s, because I remember we had one. You used to get those snowmen you could display in your living room with all the sort of like cotton woolly stuff around the outside. It looks almost like that. It's not. It's some sort of material.
You can move in it.
It can move in it. It's quite, but it's hot.
Mrs. Slocum is sort of Robin Hood, isn't she? And she's got a funny quiver around the back.
Yes, I had this quiver around the back.
Yeah. Miss Brahms is a fairy.
Yes, with a very short, sticky out tutu on.
Yeah. Mr. Lucas is a one-legged pirate with a parrot.
So like sort of Long John Silver.
He's got a crutch in there.
Yeah.
And the two best ones, though, for me, are Mr. Granger, who is sort of Humpty Dumpty.
He's an egg.
He's utterly encased and just his head, his face poking out.
But he's an egg.
I object to looking like a boiled egg. And I've already taken a screenshot of that a little while ago because I love that.
It's very funny.
And then
last to appear
is Mr. Humphreys in this sort of light blue jacket thing with a staff, a huge sort of hat thing. He's like a sort of principal boy, isn't he?
I think he's meant to be sort of like Prince Charming or something from Cinderella.
Yeah.
Because obviously John Inman, that could have even been his own costume.
All right.
Because he used to do a lot of pantomimes. I mean, later on he would be the pantomime dame, but at this stage in his life he was probably still doing sort of Buttons or Principal Boy or whatever. Because I think he was quite well known for his pantomimes. And you're starting to they're starting to realise that Mr. Humphreys is one of the most popular characters. So they're starting to give him the best costume.
Yeah, so he always starts to make an entrance.
Yeah, and I think from the next series you might get him first in the cast list as well. So the next series or the series after.
Okay, we'll see. But the decorations are unveiled and they're actually quite good for once.
They're really good. They're actually, they've got a gingerbread house on one side.
And a sort of Victorian
sort of shop front
with some barrows.
Yeah, like a sort of Dickensian kind of thing.
And this is now where it gets a bit odd.
Yes. Well, it's a Christmas episode.
Because all of a sudden there's a sudden outbreak of singing for a song that they're, in character terms, they're making up on the spot, but managing to keep to the music wherever on earth that comes from. Suddenly there's music and they're making up lyrics for this song and managing to rhyme.
Because Trevor Bannister's a little out of tune at one point, isn't
and
he?
Mr. Mash right down the camera to the audience.
Really looking into he's playing it directly down the camera.
It really is Merry Christmas to everyone at home at this point, isn't
But this is his last episode.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's true, yeah. But
whether we knew that at the time or
I don't
not.
know. But realism now goes out of the window for the rest of the episode. It's only a little short, a couple of minutes sequence.
But you'll start to get more and more of these kind of musical interludes.
And Mr. Humphreys goes on about Christmas pud and mince, and he winks. He's got a little beauty spot, hasn't he? And somebody goes again, whether it's the same person.
It's probably the same person.
And that's pretty much it. We run the credits, and Mr. Mash is hands round the wine, and everybody has a booze, don't they?
Yes, they're all going to get plastered.
Let's get blotto, and yes, Jeremy Lloyd and John Chapman. It says at the end, but. As the first Christmas special, I think that's one of the best ones.
Yeah,
I've seen them all.
As you go on, they get increasingly
difficult to talk about.
Yes. Bearing in mind when they were made.
Yeah, certainly there are some of them where.
I think the next one, which is the Father Christmas Affair, certainly does have certain
but it's
moments.
Not as bad as one of the much later ones.
That's the the family history.
That's the family tree one from Mr. Grace.
Yes. That starts out okay.
And that one is going to cause us some problems.
Yeah, we're going to have to skirt around a lot of the subjects in that one.
Okay.
Yes.
But yeah, I thought that was good, and that you know, again, looking at that schedule for that night, that is, because frankly, Born Free would have bored me to tears. I never really liked Born Free, so
it's got a nice line in it.
Yeah, but I've never really got on with that. But yeah, 8:45 to 9:15. That's probably one of the showpiece things. I mean, The Invisible Man, I was never really into that either.
No.
So just looking at that listing of that evening, that's the best thing on. I think. So.
What was on BBC Two?
Very little of note. Okay. I've already looked. There's nothing much I want to talk about.
It's just all sort of.
Well, I'll show you if you want,
stuff.
but it's not going to cause us much to talk about. Where are we? BBC Two. So yeah, BBC Two starts at 11 o'clock with Play School. Chloe Ashcroft and Johnny Ball.
Is there any point of doing that?
Then 25 minutes later, it closes down till 6:25 in the evening.
Wow, that's ridiculous.
Messiah from Scratch, Collector's World, Arthur Negus's Christmas Tree. Oh yeah. He's going to the Royal Pavilion at Brighton.
All right, that's quite nice.
He tours the palace with an invited party of pensioners.
Oh God, that's going to be slow.
that might be slow. Yeah. The British at Play, British sports, how they inspired artists and writers over the centuries. Yeah. Okay. Not really. News on to North and South.
Oh gosh. Okay.
By Mrs. Gaskell. Music by Dudley Simpson.
All right.
Script editor
Martin Lismore.
Betty Willingdale and Martin
Bennett.
Lismore and Rodney Bennett as producer director.
And Norman Jones in it.
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart.
Look at all those names.
Gosh, yeah.
Cyril Luckham.
Yeah.
Quite a few familiar names there. The Waltons.
Oh God. Okay.
Diversions. War and Peace. Walton's Spitfire Prelude. News. Inside Story. Marek, one of many children who undergo a hole in the heart operation. So cheery stuff, really, for Christmas. So I think this Christmas special is a much needed oasis of light entertainment
in
that
this desert of films and
and worthy stuff and worthy things. Yes. So good on them for that one, I think. Have you got the presser? Have you moved it?
Presser, I moved it when Martha came, in case she steps on it.
Okay, so that's season 3 and the Christmas special done and dusted.
Yeah. So next week,
season 4 begins.
Season 4, or possibly the week after.
Well, we'll see.
Because it is Halloween next Wednesday.
All right.
So we might do something Halloween flavoured.
Oh, that's an idea. Have you got an idea?
Possibly.
Okay. Well, we'll see you then.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.